Hey everyone, thanks for hanging back out with us again today. We got an order for bluegill swim bait, so I thought I'd show you how to make a swim bait, a bluegill pattern. Bluegill is a really great pattern to do because it's one of those patterns where you could pour 100 of them and all of them different, and they're still going to be bluegill because they're still going to resemble bluegill because uh, there's certain characteristics that make them bluegill, but the color scheme seems to be different. I'll explain that in a minute. But we'd like to thank everyone for hanging out with us, and we're almost to 1,000 subscribers, so make sure you like, share, and subscribe and all that. And we're at 1,000, we'll do our giveaway. But enough about that. Let's get into pouring some baits. All right, so we're going to be working with the Angling AI 7 1/4 biggin swim bait, open pore swim bait. Amazing molds, amazing company. So we're going to get them on the hot plate and just in a warm state. And now bluegills, like I said, you can pour them a lot of different ways and still resemble the bluegill. There's certain characteristics that really they have to be to make them to look like that bluegill pattern. Let me explain.
So bluegills are real similar, but still different. But the things they do have in common are what we gotta get. The wider vertical bars, the orange throat, pearl belly, and a black ear.
Okay, so the first thing we gotta do is the ear part, Now there's different ways I like to do this. Most of the time I just pour it and just pick up the mold and just pour a little drip right where it's gotta go. But that's kind of a pain in the butt. So to show you an easy way to do this, we'll do it the old way with a Q-tip. And I just get some on here, let it build up a little bit first. Don't just pour it right away. Let it build up. And then you just put a little drop, whoops, all over the place, I guess. Don't worry. We'll just pull that out. Can you guys see this? Okay. So, carefully this time, let it drip off. And then right where the ear would go, and then kind of swoosh it forward a little bit. Because if you notice, it's not quite a circle, it's kind of an oblong circle on that part. So, and then push it toward the head a little bit. I'll explain that when I get done, and I'll show you. A little drop, and shut it forward. Now this one, you just peel it off. Remember, these molds are only on a warm setting, so they're not that hot right now. They just keep everything tacky. Alright, so you can see what I'm talking about with that ear. It's kind of like an oblong. What am I doing here? Oh, okay. It's kind of like an oblong circle. It's not quite perfectly round. Alright. And then next we're gonna, this fin here, if you notice, it was kind of more of a bright yellow than the orange part. So we're gonna mix up some color. And we're gonna do just that fin and kind of like a yellowish orange. More yellow than orange. Alright. As always, we only use deadonplastix. Now, if you notice, that fin on it was actually a little bit brighter than the actual orange throat part. So we're going to use some Deadon Neo Orange Yellow. And we're going to put this in just real lightly. The saturation levels are very, very important when you're dealing with a pattern like this. You got to make sure work in very small increments to make sure one color doesn't overwhelm the other color. But so we're gonna put some of this in for just that fin. Whoa, my cap's coming off there. Okay. Just a couple drops till we get what we want. We don't want to do much. just a little bit of color right there. Couple more. And then what we're gonna do with this color, after we're done with the fin part, then we're gonna add regular dead on plastic orange, darken it up, and we'll just use this plastic for the orange throat part, and that way it saves us some plastisol too. All right. Maybe a little bit more. 3 more drops. Always work in small increments. You can always add, but you can't ever take it away. And none of this is really that important. This is for personal preference. I just think it makes a more realistic approach to the bluegill. And I poured quite a lot of bluegills. Bluegill pattern is the first pattern I really wanted to master, and by focusing on getting one pattern right instead of a whole bunch of them, I'm able to focus more on my techniques and stuff, and so I got to hone techniques while I'm perfecting certain patterns. So bluegills to me it's kind of like back to basics for me. There's a whole lot of steps to it, and that's the fun part of it for me. Okay, so there's that. Let's check that out. Okay, so now it's kind of like this bright. See, it's real thin still. You can see right through it still, but you got that bright yellowish orange tint. Okay, so we're going to heat this up, get this up to a good temp, and then blow it off in the vacuum chamber, and then we're going to pour just that little tiny fin in there. Alright, now sometimes this can be tricky to do, but with just a little bit of patience, it's not hard to figure out. What I like to do to pour it is to pour in the fat part and let it drift toward the head. So what we're going to do here, these molds are still just in a warm state, and the plastic is about 310 degrees. And put it just in that little corner there. Hope you can see this. And then just let it fill in that little spot. Sometimes you might have to do it a couple times to get it right. Let it flow up and then run back. Just like that. See? Just that little tiny spot in the fan. Alright, let's try another one. Temperatures and saturations are very important. Let it flow up. And then once it gets to the front, drift it back the other way to stop it from flowing out. Flow up and flow back. Last one here. Let it flow all the way up. And let it back. See a little drop, not a problem. Oops, just pull that piece. Alright, so the molds are still on that warm setting, and we're going to get set up to do the color for the capsule pour, which is the main body color, but it's just a capsule, thin capsule. So what we're going to do, more dead on plastics in the microwave, and we're going to add some dead on plastics kiwis for that green tint, and we're going to spike it up with a little bit of alpha pigments. We'll be right back when that's ready. Alright, here we got our beautiful dead-on plastics. We're going to throw some kiwi into it. And this will give us a base, that greenish base color. Now the dead-on site recommends about 25 drops per half cup, so that's exactly what we just did. We just follow the directions. For this anyways. Alright, it looks pretty dark, but as you can see, this color is so awesome. It's a real nice, it's still thin on the knife. And then we're going to sauce it up a little bit. We're going to use some alpha pigments. You got to make sure you check these guys out. We have an affiliate link with them. This is the Tsunami color shift. Make sure you look at the right stuff. There's color shift and then super flake. They're both different. But we're going to get, it doesn't take much, just a little smidgen of this. Maybe a smidgen and a half. And just to add a little texture to this, we're going to add some black flake, I think, to it. So this is 0.025. Alright, then we're going to stir that up real good. And it kind of deadens it into that more of a brownish, greenish vibe, you know, that color shift that the bluegill has. You really want to make sure that mica powder is stirred real well in there. Oh, Jewish. That's looking so cool. Let me see if you guys can you guys see that? Kind of, huh? Still working with this new camera. Alright, see how it's still thin on the knife? You can still see the knife right through it. So it looks thick, but it's actually thin once it's poured. Alright, so we're going to get this back up to temp. Now, since we're pouring a capsule, we want this kind of hot. So we're going to get this up to temp and get it in the vacuum chamber, and I'll show you how we pour a capsule off real quick. Alright, now what we're going to do, we're going to pour it in the head, about half the head, and then we don't want to fill the whole body in. We're not pouring a whole capsule. We want to go about halfway and then right to the tail and dump it out. Okay? Now these molds are still in a warm state, and since when we do a capsule, we want to make sure our plastic is really hot. So this plastic is about 380. And here we go. We got to move quick doing this. Hope you can see this. So we're going to pour in the head and then run it down the body. And then, oops, if it doesn't fill, hit it real quick. Just like that. About half of the body. Okay, let's do another one. Run it down and then dump it out. And be very careful, this is super hot. Okay. The last one, we're only doing a set of 2 of these, so there's only 4, you know, 1 for each side, you know. Oops, a little bit there. Alright. Alright, just like that. Okay, so it's spray all that part that poured over, just pinch it off all the way down and clean up your edges a little bit. You want nice straight edges. Sometimes you get lucky and you can just pull it down. Not this time, I guess. Just nice pinch, pinch, pinch all the way down. And then I like to line them up face to face like that. And that'll make sure we keep our lines even. Now we're gonna, we had those wider bars, so we're gonna color those wider bars in real quick. I'll show you how we do that. For that we use some Lureworks Color Coat 2.0 black dotting 5828. You got to make sure it's that kind. So there's another kind that's made for airbrushing. Now I've been asked about our brushes. These are just brushes that you clean your like razor and stuff with, but I like these ones because you see one side's like sharp tip, like a wedge shape, and the other one's round. Well, this round one makes perfect wider gap bars, vertical bars. So that's what we're going to do now. We got some of our color in here, and we dip just the tip in there and dab off any excess. And then we're just going to go straight across from one side of the mold to the other side, and that keeps your lines parallel when you're finished. So we're just going to dab it across all the way up and over to the other side. And that's it. Make sure you always dab off that excess and just nice vertical lines all the way up and over and across. You might get one or two lines before you got to dip again, but you don't want it to fade out too much. Up and over. Oops, snuck a third one in that one, huh? Alright. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it ends up, we got 8 of them. So what we want to do is try to come close to that on this one, same pattern. So we do this one now. All right. So there we have that. I think those are pretty close. And kind of zoom in there. See? And now both sides of your bait will be even. The bars will be parallel on both sides. Okay? So now at this point, we're going to close these molds up and we're going to get ready to pour that orange throat part. These molds are awesome though. You can make them solid body if you want, and reverse that hook slot, and then it has no hook slot and it'll be a solid body. Alright, now we're not going full blast with the temp yet. We are going to kick her up to about 200 degrees though. And when we get ready with that orange throat, just like it says, it's in the throat. So what we're going to do is that mold that we capsule poured and dripped onto, we're going to set that under these tails, whoops, a little bit of plastic on there, under these tails back here at an incline, and that'll keep the orange right back at the throat where it's supposed to be. Alright, so now remember that neo orange we did for the fin, the neo orange yellow. So we're going to just darken it up with some dead-on plastic orange. Just give it, not much, we just want to deaden it up. We still want to, that's 2 drops. We still want to make sure we keep our saturation levels right. So we can't just blast it in there. We just want to make sure it's a shade darker. That's 3 colors, or 3 drops. I think that looks good. Oh, maybe. It's funny in the cup, it looks so much darker than outside. Let's do 4 drops. Oh yeah, that's much better. Much better. Okay, I like that. So we're gonna get this vacuumed off, and then we're gonna show you how we pour the throat part of it. Alright, now, since our molds are hotter, our plastic is cooler. So our molds are about 250 degrees, so our plastic is about 300. And we're gonna pour it just in that throat. Just a little bit, not much. You don't want to make it go up into the head. You just want it to stay right there in that throat part. And try to get even amounts on both cavities so they look the same. Just like that. Now we're going to heat up plastic for the belly color, the fill color, and we'll be right back for that. Alright? So I like to do this for this combination for belly colors like this, is because it's not quite bright white, so we're going to use a dead-on plastic grit. We're going to start with a couple drops of that. That's 10 drops, and then we're going to snow shine it up. I love this snow shine from Dead-On. You can put that in like any color, and that I don't measure that, I just squirted it. And then for a little bit of texture, we're just going to use some 0.040 coffee colored flake, just to add a little bit of texture. We're not going to add a lot. Flake should only be seasoning. You shouldn't overwhelm it. It's just highlight color. Okay, let's stir this up and see where we're at. Oh yes, I love that combination. It makes such a great belly color. Let's see if I can. See, you can still see through the knife on it. Look, you can still see through the knife and everything. But it's got that nice off-white color with a little flashy pearl to it. Perfect. Alright, so we're gonna get this in the vacuum chamber, get all the bubbles out of that, and then we're gonna pour the bellies. Alright, at this point I'm gonna turn the heat up to about 250, 275. Get this mold out from underneath the bottom. We don't need that no more. And now, since our molds are hot, like I said, our plastic can be cool, which will also help suspend that flake. So we're gonna start at the head, just fill it in right over top of that hook slot and partway up the tail. Not quite all the way, but we're gonna go partially up there. Alright. Looks like about 3/4 of the way through the eye. Nice and slow. When you got hot molds, that plastic will just flow where it's got to go. It's really kind of nice. That's what quality molds can get you. They do the work for you. Alright. So now, remember the capsule we did? We're going to add 1 drop of Dead-On Plastic Black, and then we're going to top that off right over top of it. And we're going to make sure the heat, where are we at? Okay, the heat's good. It is, I got a little cheat sheet over here because it's all in Fahrenheit. It is about 275. So we're gonna get that ready, and we're gonna top it off with that. All right, we got our capsule pour with just one drop of black in there, and then we're just gonna start in the head and fill it up. And just let it flow to the tail. Give it a little help here. Now, since the molds are really hot now, they're about 275, 280, and getting hotter. So the plastic we can have a little bit cooler. The plastic's only about 300 degrees. Temperature is very important. The temperature of the molds, the temperature of the plastic, all of them have to play off each other. Okay, fill that back tail in, work it up. You want it just shy, just so it kind of crowns, and then as it cools, you'll have level tops, nice level tops. You want it just where the plastic starts to do that crown and then stop. All right, so we're gonna let them chill out and cool. We're gonna let them cook for about 5 more minutes at this temperature, and then we're gonna kill the power, let them cool down on their own, sitting on the hot plate, so they slowly cool down. And when they're ready, we're gonna crack them open and see how we did. All right, let's check these out. See how we did. There we go. There's the first one. Very cool. See how the colors just kind of blend from one to another. You don't see like a big change from one to the other to the other. That's when you got good saturation. Let's check out the other one. There we go. Not bad, not bad. We're going to get some eyes on these. It's important, we only use Loctite Super Gel. It's important when you're doing eyes to look at the pupils of them. Because like these ones are like a teardrop shape. So you want that teardrop to point, the point of the teardrop to point toward the nose of the bait. So many people put so much time into a great pour, and then they have their eyes going all wonky everywhere. So you just a dab in the eye socket. Let me back up a little bit here. Just a dab in the eye socket, and then make sure that the eye is pointing the right direction. And just set her down in. I got these little tips I like to push it into place a little bit. Set it in there. Make sure the eye is going the right way. And set that in there. Alright. And then there they are. Very cool. We're going to run them outside real quick and have you check them out.
Let's see it. I want to see it. I want to see it.
All right, as always, the best place to get pictures is outside in natural light. Not necessarily direct sunlight, just natural lighting. But here we go. Look at that. Nice little bluegill flair to it. Got that, all the points crossed. We got that little oblong ear, those wider bars. Orange throat. Notice the difference in the fin too. Oh, it's that brighter yellow. You can tell the difference. Very cool. I think that's pretty close.
Alright, so those are pretty cool. Turned out pretty cool. That guy likes that pattern. I've made a bunch of them for him. But the technique is what I really want to show you. You can, like I said, you can apply this. Just change the colors up the way you want them, and the whole technique is the saturation levels and temperatures and the way you lay them in there, the order of operation. But hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, we appreciate you hanging out with us. And make sure you like, subscribe, and follow, and all that jazz. And we're getting real close to our giveaway. First 1,000 member subs, we'll get we'll do a big giveaway. And make sure if any local bait makers watching this, if you guys want to do a little bait trade, let me know. Get a hold of me, and we'll swap baits, and I'll show you baits on the show. So, till next time, we appreciate everyone hanging out. Thanks for watching.